In the center of a very old, very dusty mansion sat a room known as a grand hall. In this hall lived the most magnificent object anyone had ever seen, Horatio, a grandfather clock made of solid gold. Horatio didn't just tell time, he sang it. Every hour, his golden bells would chime a melody so sweet that the mice would stop running just to listen. Horatio's pendulum was polished to a mirror finish, and his face was encrusted with tiny diamonds. He was, in his own mind, the most important thing in the world. Next to Horatio, on a small, velvet-lined shelf, sat Rusty. Rusty was an old iron key. He was notched, brown, and had a strange, crooked shape. He didn't chime, he didn't shine, and he certainly didn't have any diamonds. Every morning, Horatio would look down his golden nose at the little key. "Oh, Rusty," Horatio would boom, his voice vibrating through the floorboards. "How dull you are. You look like a scrap of metal someone forgot to throw away. I am the heart of this house. I command the minutes and the hours. You just sit there collecting dust." Rusty would rattle slightly. "We all have a purpose, Horatio. Just because you can't see mine doesn't mean I don't have one." The other objects in the room tried to defend Rusty. The silk curtains whispered, "Rusty is steady. He has been here since the house was built." The porcelain vase added, "True value isn't always on the outside, Horatio." But Horatio wouldn't listen. He became obsessed with his own reflection in the hall's mirrors. "Look at my hands," he would cry. "They are crafted from the finest ebony. And my chime, it can be heard in the gardens. Why must I share a shelf with something as ugly as that key? It ruins the view." One day, the master of the house decided to go on a long journey. Before leaving, he wound Horatio up tight, polished his gold, and then locked the great oak door that led to the grand hall. The house became silent, save for Horatio's steady tick-tock, tick-tock. Months passed. The air became thick with dust. A summer heat wave hit, and the wooden floorboards groaned under the weight of the humidity. Because no one was there to oil Horatio's delicate gears, the heat began to affect him. His golden casing started to expand and press against his inner workings. One afternoon, with a loud, metallic clang, Horatio's mainspring snapped. The music stopped. The ticking stopped. The diamonds on his face seemed to dim as he realized he was frozen. "Help!" He tried to chime, but only a dull thud came out. He was a magnificent golden box that was now completely useless. He couldn't even tell if it was morning or night. One evening, a group of travelers seeking shelter from a storm found the mansion. They were cold and hungry, and they knew that inside the grand hall was a fireplace that could warm them. They tried to push the great oak door, but it was locked tight with a heavy, ancient lock. "We need a key," one traveler shouted over the thunder. "If we can't get inside, we'll freeze out here." Horatio watched from his corner, helpless. He realized that for all his gold and diamonds, he could not open a door. He could not save anyone. He looked at Rusty, who was sitting quietly on his velvet shelf. "Rusty," Horatio whispered, his voice cracking, "I am so sorry. I spent my life telling you that you were junk. But right now, you are the only one who matters. Those people need you." Rusty didn't hesitate. "Don't worry, Horatio. A key is made for the lock, not the shelf." Just then, one of the travelers looked through the keyhole and saw the shelf. He reached through a small broken pane of glass in the door and grabbed the little, mud-brown key. Rusty fit perfectly. With a smooth click, the heavy lock turned. The travelers burst into the room, lit a fire, and were saved from the cold. As they sat by the fire, one of them noticed Horatio. "What a beautiful clock," she said. "But look, he's broken. We should fix him." Using a small toolkit, the traveler opened Horatio's back panel. She used a tiny drop of oil and a new spring to bring him back to life. But as she worked, she set Rusty down on the table right in front of Horatio's face. When Horatio's heart began to tick-tock again, a traveler set Rusty down on the table right in front of Horatio's face. The first thing he saw was a rusty iron key. He didn't see dried dirt or scrap metal. He saw a hero. "Thank you, Rusty," Horatio chimed, his bells ringing softly and humbly. "Your iron is stronger than my gold." Rusty just smiled. "We're a team, Horatio. You tell the world when it's time to move, and I open the doors to get them there." From that day on, the golden clock never boasted again. He realized that beauty might get you noticed, but it is the strengths of the rusty parts of us that often save the day. Moral: never judge someone according to how they look.